Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
Thank you very much. Eric, who's going to stop me? I love this stuff more than you love this stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that still love all-American rhythm and blues, rock and roll, guitar, adventure. So I'm here to share it with the planet. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Well, you know, and you do it in such an amazing way, particularly with this brand new album, Ted, Detroit Muscle. And I enjoyed listening to it. And what a great album. And of the tracks, 10 of them you wrote. I think the only one you didn't write was the Star Spangled Banner.
No, I didn't write the Star Spangled Banner, but I did perfect it. I injected more, shall we say, defiance and love for God-given individual rights than maybe anybody ever. And I know that sounds facetious and silly because I'm really good at facetious and silly, but I really do mean that. I've been inspired. I'm doing it again this weekend. I've been invited by the Delta Force, Army Rangers, the Green Berets, the Navy SEALs. Eric, when you have saluted as many flag-draped coffins as I have, and being invited into these warriors' families, and especially around a campfire, which is why the American Campfire song happened. But when I play that national anthem, I know the whole world sucks. And I have friends all over the world, but everybody knows that there's only one experiment in self-government. There's only one constitution. There's only one culture that celebrates that God gave us this gift of life and the freedoms from him that go with it. So when I play it, it's not just a melody, it's not just licks, it's not just guitar adventure. It is my spirit in sound. And that spirit comes from those superhumans that died for, Eric, it's not just a party and we're celebrating freedom, we're celebrating that they died for it. So when I showed you Goosebumps a minute ago, it's powerful medicine. So now more than ever, with the treachery we're surrounded with, I thought it was appropriate to remind people that there's only one experiment in self-government and that freedom ain't free. So it's a very powerful piece of music.
Well, and I'll tell you what, your version of it too, Ted, is just so amazing. Listening to it, and obviously, you know, seeing you in concert, playing so much of your music in cover bands I've been in, not even coming close to your guitar capability. But it's just, you know, all the hits you've had over the years, Ted, you know, from Cat Scratch Fever and Stranglehold and Free for all these great songs. But this new album, it's a strong outing with Detroit Muscle. I love on Detroit Muscle, even it's like it opens up with the car engine, you know, paying homage to your home city of Detroit. And it's like, it's a statement with the whole album, Ted.
Well, and thank you for that. I'm getting an awful lot of wonderful feedback grind fire to be exact, but I'm getting a lot of feedback from people who've been waiting for more, shall we say, original Chuck Berry on fire, Little Richard uppity intensity, the James Brown tightness, the Motown Funk Brothers soul. So yes, it does start out with that very important, definitive, and celebratory Detroit muscle horsepower. But then the song celebrates not just Detroit muscle horsepower, but Detroit muscle musical horsepower. Whether we're talking the Amboy Dukes, the Motown Funk Brothers are the defining force. But Mitch Ryder, the Detroit Wheels, Grand Funk Railroad, Brownsville Station, the MC5, Bob Seger. Today you got Kid Rock. And even though Eminem isn't rock and roll, and I can't stand that kind of music, but he does have a soulfulness with the grooves that he embraced from those mighty Motown Funk Brothers. So yes, the album celebrates the original music. And let me emphasize, everything I do is emphasizing. When the British invasion happened, the first Stones and Beatles albums, what songs did they have? Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Bo Diddley, and Motown. All the important music in your life, you're talking about cover bands, you don't know. Nobody can name a song. And that's quite a bold statement, which I'm really good at. Nobody can name a song that moves you that was not influenced by the Motown Funk Brothers, whether it's an AC/DC or the Chili Peppers, or I don't care, even some of these country songs, because I don't really enjoy country music. All those country musicians, those are rhythm and blues virtuosos that were inspired by the Motown Funk Brothers, I promise you.
With the new album out, Detroit Muscle, you also have 2 videos out But then you've kind of got your own YouTube thing going now with the Nightly Nuge.
You know, I think quality of life and liberty and pursuit of real happiness is about communication. That's how Shemaine and I met. My goddess, my queen of the forest, the greatest female specimen to ever walk the earth. I don't know how else I could put it. And when she gets a bow and arrow, you better sharpen your knife because something's going to die. My point is that communication has always inspired me. That's why, Eric, it's so important. I'm 74 years old this year, and I've been clean and sober all my life, which means I respect and thank God for his gifts. I'm not going to poison his gifts. I'm not going to diminish his gifts. I'm going to celebrate his gifts. So when I got to jam with B.B. King, I don't want to be comfortably numb. I want to be tuned in, that stealthy bow hunting situational awareness to absorb the mysticism, the magic, the spirit of B.B. King. How would you not want to maximize that moment? Same when I jammed with Rick Derringer or Johnny Winter or Billy Gibbons or Eddie Van Halen or Brian May. Why would you not want to imprint their genius? So my point is that in the modern world with this social media, which is, by the way, we're able to celebrate our joint musical love here.
Totally.
In this technology. So I've got a Facebook stuff and Instagram and all that stuff, and I don't do Twitter much, but I think Shemaine and my kids do Twitter for me because truth, logic, and common sense is not ambiguous. But on the Nightly Nuge, it's on global high-tech stuff, and I do a Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire where it's serious as a heart attack to discuss quality of life issues and how our government is destroying them, and fun stuff, unlimited tangents of hysterical, defiant, uppity, crazy, irreverent fun. If you're not having fun with me, you're weird. So yes, the Nightly Nuge is really embraced in my Spirit Campfire, and I think people watching us right now, they realize that I'm a positive guy, I'm a high energy guy, I'm a dedicated guy, I create jobs, I'm a farmer, I'm a rancher, we got a nice rain, we got my crops coming up, I train dogs, I hunt, I fish, I trap, I play Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley and James Brown music, and there is a division in America where communication, which is the Nightly Nuge Spirit Campfire, what we're doing right now, if you can't communicate openly and uninhibited, and hence the American Campfire song, then you're not going to understand your fellow man to understand where their decisions and their beliefs come from. And then you can reference historical evidence and current evidence to maybe let them know that secure borders are better than insecure borders, and clean and sober is better than drunk and stoned. And we can have that debate, but without communication, the debate will never happen, and people can stay in the dark. And we have a lot of that right now. So I'm proud of the positive, loving, giving, caring, funny, cocky, really smart people I'm surrounded with. And guess what, Eric? You qualify. You deserve me because you're a good man who knows real music, and we're here to celebrate that. So thank you for that.
Well, and I've got to bring this up, Ted, too, to where so many artists and bands and everything, and like myself that have grown up with your music, have pointed to you as an example of not abusing alcohol and drugs. And that's a huge influence that you've had on so many artists that go, when they came to your concerts, when they bought your album, seeing you live, and you were able to bring that kind of music to the table and that kind of energy without any outside contributions.
Very, very important reality. And I didn't set out to be my brother's keeper. And I don't feel obligated to be my brother's keeper. But I do feel obligated when I told Jimi Hendrix I didn't want his drugs and it was going to kill him. I told him it was going to kill him. I told John Belushi, I don't want your cocaine. And John, you're a gift to mankind. You're so brilliant. It's going to kill you, man. I told Bon Scott I didn't need his whiskey. I said, Bon, my God, your musical genius has so enriched our lives, and it's going to kill you. I told Keith Moon I don't need your beer and your dope. I got to hang with these guys, and I couldn't tie them to a pillar and hose them down. I probably should have, but I told them this abuse, you don't want to join the 28-year club or whatever it is. You want to thank God for his gifts. You don't want to poison his gifts. Right. But there was this lie of peer pressure. So conclusively, thank you for saying that, because I'm not my brother's keeper, but I know the right decisions that bring me such joy and health. Right. And what else is there but joy and health? And no joy unless you have health, and no health if you don't take care of your sacred temple. But I hear it every day, Eric. Every day, everywhere I go, people come up to me and thank me for promoting and celebrating the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and freedom and a work ethic. But every day people go, I got to tell you, Uncle Ted, I've been clean and sober for 18 years because I heard your interviews back then. Or I decided to be clean and sober because I heard your interviews when I was 10. What inspiration that is. But again, here's a two-edged sword. You don't feel obligated to intervene in someone else's life, but let me re-examine that. If you see a hurt person on the street, which I have seen in the past, do you walk past them? Do you not take out your large handkerchief and wrap it around the wound to stop the bleed? Don't you help your fellow man? And when you see substance abuse absolutely ruining everything, I think we do have an obligation to stand up and go, comfortably numb is actually uncomfortably dumb. Now, having said that, you're going to get such a kick out of this. That is absolutely irrefutably true. But I spent the weekend with Keith Richards in 1978, and he blows that entire philosophy out of the water. I love the man, but he's been a repository of chemical warfare for his entire life. But he's a good man, and I know a lot of guys that do imbibe, and they're good people. But once they get drunk or stoned, they are not as good as they were before they were drunk and stoned, period. That's the truth.
Well, now I got to bring up too, Ted, that your tour is going to be kicking off this July, and I'm sure more singles, more videos coming out. It looks like it's going to be a great year, a great celebration of your 74th birthday. Are you excited about this? That, all these years later, your music has been in all these movies, you've acted in movies and in television. You're still doing what you love, going out on the road with a band with a brand new album.
Well, I got to start by celebrating that God really, really loves me, because Eric, and as a musician, you know how critical your team is. Definitely. I talked to Tom Noel last week. Tom Noel was my drummer in 1960. I talked in the Lourdes. He and I keep in touch. I talked to Mitch Ryder. I talked to Jimmy McCarty. I talked to Johnny Benadryl. I just lost my first singer, John Brake. Great man, Amboy Dukes. I talked to Bob Leonard, who was the original Amboy Dukes lead singer in '65 when I spent 2 years in Illinois. But the point is today, after all this history of the greatest musicians that God has ever sicked on us, here it is, 60-some years later, Jason Hartless from Detroit on drums, an absolute animal, I think he's 24, 25, and Greg Smith on bass guitar, just some strange grinding rhythm beast. These guys are what every guitar player dreams of, because all my songs are instinctively unleashed. And so when I erupt a natural, instinctive, grinding, Motown-influenced guitar pattern, Jason and Greg, they come pile driving in as if they've played it 1,000 times. So I give the credit to my teammates throughout my career. I've had the best rhythm section, a guitar player, for every year of the damn Yankees, the Amboy Dukes, every Ted Nugent solo record. Are you kidding me? I could name all these gods of thunder, but in 2022, we are extremely proud of the energy and the velocity and the James Brown tightness of the Detroit Muscle record. And I attribute that to Greg and Jason and my team. Michael Lutz, who was the author of Smoking in the Boys' Room, Brownsville Station, he's my co-producer, and he's just a musical monster. Tim and Andy Paddlin are my co-producers and my engineers, and they're just musical forces. So when we get in the barn and start recording, everything is instinctive and spontaneous. So since we weren't allowed to tour because of mandates. Oh, by the way, I just want to make a note, if I may, Eric. Nobody can give me a mandate. Only one person on the planet can mandate anything to me. That would be Mrs. Nugent. If some bureaucrat thinks he can mandate something to me, I might have to punch him. But we did our first official concert last Friday in Panama City Beach, Florida. Eric, hell, are you kidding me? It was the next show of 6,768, and it actually was my 6,768th rock out. I counted them all, going back to pool parties and sock hops, right. and girlfriends' basement birthday parties. And it was a firestorm of musical energy and tightness, and Jason and Greg put their heart and soul into every lick, every song, every concert, every night. Hallelujah. That's Detroit Muscle in spades, my friend.
Well, I tell you what, we can't wait to see you live on the road with the brand new album, Ted Nugent, the Motor City Madman. The album is Detroit Muscle, available now. 2 videos out from the album already. Plus, you can catch him on the Nightly Nuge on YouTube. Uncle Ted Nugent, thank you so much for joining the Rockin' Review.
Well, thanks for carrying and celebrating my music, Eric. I love people who love music, but we do have a Come and Take It. It's a love song. Come and Take It lyric videos out. American Campfire music video is out, lyric video, and the new song Born in the Motor City. Eric, Born in the Motor City, it's a firestorm. That lyric video is out now too, so enjoy that, and thanks everybody for keeping this crazy Detroit firestorm career alive. I thank and love you all so much. The positive energy I get from music lovers, Eric, you can see the smile on my face. I thank them from the bottom of my greasy venison-infested heart and soul.
Thank you so much, Ted Nugent.
Thanks, Eric. God bless, Godspeed, jam like you mean it, buddy.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.